Hey guys, it's RJ from The Secret Stacks, and today I wanted to do something a little different and talk about some of the changes that have been happening at Pottermore and what it means for the wider wizarding world. Now, I probably should have done this in my news video last week, but there's a lot I want to say about this, partly because I've always really been interested in the business of books. I was actually an economics major back in college, and even though my job now doesn't use economics at all, it's still a really interesting way of both looking at the world and looking at what I'm reading. And there is no bigger economic juggernaut than Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. Now, just in case you've been living under a muggle rock, Pottermore is J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter focused site, which she built back in 2012 to be the hub of her online presence and the pivot for all the different directions of the Harry Potter world. Now, originally, in addition to being the only place that you could buy Harry Potter audiobooks and ebooks, Pottermore was also a hub that had games and quizzes and things like that. But I don't know if you've been on the site recently, but there have been a lot of changes, and a lot of that has been spurred by the financials. Pottermore went from a £14.5 million profit in 2014 to a £6 million loss in 2015. And that's caused some drastic changes both of the services and the staff. They've cut the staff of about 50 to 60 people down by a quarter. They've also eliminated games like the Sorting Hat quiz on the site. All that's left is a cache of articles and the very basic Harry Potter store, which in itself isn't as special as it used to be, because under the radar for the past 6 months, both ebooks and audiobooks have been expanding their distribution to other online stores. It started with iBooks, then audible.com for the ebooks, and most recently, for the first time ever, the Harry Potter collection is available on the Kindle. Pottermore was such a big deal originally because it was seen as a pushback both against publishers and distributors and a possibly new model for successful authors to go direct to consumers. But sales have slowly ground to a trickle, and that has added pressure on all facets of the business. Now, the numbers here are a little bit deceiving, because a lot of Pottermore's financials were buffeted by an exclusive deal they had with Sony, both to distribute their games, but also to buffer Sony's e-reader service, as each of their e-readers was loaded with a free Harry Potter book. The fact that I can't tell you exactly what a Sony e-reader is called is probably a good indication of how successful, or rather unsuccessful, the deal has been. It was a great deal for J.K. Rowling, which paid over £24.5 million, but with the elimination of that deal at the end of 2014, that accounts for all of the drastic reduction in revenue. Now, it's really amazing looking at what's left on the site, which is basically just articles, that £6 million can be associated with that cost, and that it takes 50 to 60 people to run the site. Now, it's possible some of those are holdovers from when the site was more robust, when it used to have things like the message boards in the games, which no longer exist. But still, even after the reduction in staff, that's talking about 40 people for listing articles and running a very rudimentary online shop. This isn't to say that the demand for Harry Potter is dead. Pottermore reported revenues of $4.5 million during the December holiday Christmas shopping season, but a lot of that I have to assume is from the expanded distribution of the books. Not all of that was being funneled through the site. This year also marks the debut of The Cursed Child, which is a stage play based on an adult Harry Potter, and also the movie Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The demand for Harry Potter is still strong, so why did Pottermore fail? Two main reasons. Number one, it got usurped as the hub for where fans went for the most cutting-edge Harry Potter news. BuzzFeed and Tumblr took over as the message boards and creative articles. Pottermore is more like an encyclopedia. BuzzFeed and Tumblr ended up filling the void of the rabid fandom. That's where the most crazy and interesting theories come from. That's where the easily shareable articles are. And therefore, that's where the fans are communicating. That also goes for her Twitter account, which has given her a platform for instant reactions to happenings in the Harry Potter fandom. But it's also diverted eyes from the site to her Twitter. Now, the reason the site has failed to turn a profit recently is because there hasn't been any new books. Put simply, if J.K. Rowling put out a new Harry Potter book right now, Pottermore revenues would soar. It would be groundbreaking. Revenues would be in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But for whatever reason, Rowling has decided to keep her world alive outside the scope of books, but therefore outside the realm of Pottermore. Rather than being a hub, it's turned into, like I said, more like an encyclopedia or a museum with a little gift shop where you can buy the books that you can buy everywhere else now. But what does this mean for the future of the Harry Potter universe? Well, that depends. In my opinion, J.K. Rowling has struggled to define exactly what relationship she wants to have with Harry Potter as it's moving forward. She very clearly isn't ready to give it up, but she also very clearly isn't writing any other books in the series, which leads two possible future avenues for the Harry Potter world to go. The first is what I call the Star Wars model. What eventually started out as a trilogy eventually expanded into a franchise with additions of episodes 1, 2, and 3. Now, there's the risk for J.K. Rowling right there. Those 3 movies were panned as nowhere near as good as the originals. And that's a real fear for a creator. Rowling clearly wants to still be involved in the Harry Potter universe, but without a solid idea for where to go next, she's rightfully hesitant to just throw something else out there that can dilute the value of her brand. Of course, looking at Star Wars, you can tell that this isn't necessarily a franchise killer. After George Lucas sold his controlling stake to Disney, we're seeing a massive reboot across all product lines. It's wiping away years of incongruent books, while also trying to get back to the magic of the original trilogy. The question is, will we ever see Rowling give up control of the Harry Potter universe? I, for one, doubt it, considering how much she's been involved with just the fandom since the books have ended. Now, it's not surprising for a creator to not know where to go, whether to continue a franchise or not. For this, I look at the model of Naruto, which I would say is a hybrid of keeping control and also loosening your grip. The end of the Naruto manga has been met with sanctioned canon light novels, a couple of movies, and also a couple of limited run manga episodes, all of which the creator Kishimoto had a part in. But he's also very clearly ready to try something new. So while he's having a hand in the future of Naruto, he's also passing it off. He's set the stage with his creation of Boruto and the next generation of characters, but he's also handing that off and letting new creators tackle the storyline as it moves forward into an anime and manga. The question becomes, where does Rowling go from here? I, for one, am curious, because obviously I would love to get a deeper dive into the magical world, whether it's through the next generation of characters or with the Newt Scamander, just characters that aren't involved in the original storyline at all. She's created such a rich, lush world that there's so much potential there, and I think that's what fans are clinging to. So if you have any ideas or theories of where Harry Potter might go next, let me know down in the comments below. Till next time, see ya.